How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store kicked off its Critics' Choice sale as well as its games under $15 sale. There's a bunch of stuff. We're gonna go over it. You guys know how this shtick works. Links to everything, as always, will be in the description box below. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and do leave a comment with your thoughts. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it is much appreciated. But let's get right into it, and I want to kick things off with Valkyria Chronicles Remastered, 75% off for $4.99. I think Valkyria Chronicles is a criminally underrated JRPG franchise. It's really well made, the art style's great, and even though the game came out back in 2008, yes, it's been over 15 years since this game came out. I think it was fall of 2008. But the game turned out to be great. I just imagine it didn't kill it commercially over here stateside. And it was a PS3 exclusive at the time. But Valkyria Chronicles is a great game. Great tactics gameplay. Good story. I'm not gonna say the characters were like super engaging. The main character is kinda bland, but you know, overall, it's still a relatively likable cast, and I think the gameplay is just really solid. $4.99, great price on that. Definitely would recommend it. With the release of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, some of you guys probably have taken some more notice to the Yakuza franchise, and you know what? I seem to sing the praises of the RGG titles ad nauseum on this channel, so why not continue it? We've got Yakuza 0 on sale, 75% off for $4.99, and then Yakuza 6 The Song of Life is 75% for $4.99. Now, getting into Like a Dragon Yakuza is a daunting process, and there's a lot of debate on how to handle it. I think most people are just gonna be, you know, pretty generic and say, yo, just play all the games, Yakuza 0, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you can play Like a Dragon, then you can play Infinite Wealth. Well, if you want to go on an expedition and an odyssey, you should do that, but it should be known, Yakuza 0 was a game that's really good, and it's built for a newer audience, so I figure this game is quite engaging, and it's a good starting point. Definitely play Kiwami and Kiwami 2. Things start falling off with Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. Those games, if you get into them now, are fairly dated, so just keep that in mind. And there are definitely some stumbling blocks with 3, 4, and 5. They're still good games, but just take that for what you will. Obviously, I would certainly recommend you to play Yakuza 0. It's fantastic. And then Yakuza 6 is a pretty good playthrough as well. But, you know, when you talk about playing Yakuza 6 at that point, then you should play the other games. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if you want to, like, eliminate Yakuza 0 through 6, you can do that. You can jump right into Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then play Infinite Wealth. Most people would probably say that's blasphemous, since Infinite Wealth, you have Kiryu as a main character, and yeah, that is the case. And would it be beneficial for you to play all the other games? Sure, I 100% agree with that, but you can also play just Like a Dragon and then play Infinite Wealth and still have a really good time, given that Ichiban, I would say, is still the main character of Infinite Wealth. But, you know, I'm not here to go on a tangent. Look, if you want to play Yakuza 0, I highly recommend it. It's $5. Go play it, and you'll probably enjoy it quite a bit. But, yeah, kind of got on a crazy tangent there. I mean, Infinite Wealth just came out, playing through it, so obviously, top of the mind right now, so to speak. Next up, we got Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, 90% off for $3.99. Now, this remaster isn't anything to write home about, but Hot Pursuit is a really solid arcade racer. Visuals are still decent, gameplay is still fairly good, and overall, if you want a decent arcade racer, for $4, it's a pretty damn good pickup. It is also available on EA Play, so if you want to play it that way, that is an option, but, you know, for $4, why not just completely add it to your library? That seems like a pretty good shout to me. Next up, we got Rayman Legends, 80% off for $3.99, another game that I recommend ad nauseum. It's just a really solid platformer. I feel like Ubisoft can do more with Rayman as an IP and a franchise, but we can't have nice things, can we? We'll just get, you know, open world game number 72. Not to say that's a bad thing necessarily, but I feel like they can do more with Rayman, and Rayman Legends is a great game, fairly accessible as well. Great visual style that is still hold up well a decade later, but yeah, $4 for that, no-brainer there. Next up, we got .hack GU Last Recode, 90% off for $4.99. You guys know me, or if you do know me, you know that I'm a sucker for .hack GU. It is a great series on PlayStation 2, but back on the PS2 days, we got absolutely fleeced for these games. CyberConnect 2, Bandai Namco, whoever was involved in the decision-making and splitting these games up into volume, had us paying like $40, $50 every 6 months or so, I want to say. in between the releases of these games, but they're quite good. And here you're getting all 3 games, they're upgraded, and you got a 4th smaller episode, all for $5. Like, the amount of content you get in this collection is kind of ridiculous. And you know, it certainly shows its age. Stiff animation, some of the voice acting isn't great, but overall I think the gameplay is solid, albeit a bit repetitive. You know, deep roster of characters, and you know, some of them are obviously more engaging than others, but overall I like the character trajectory of Haseo as well. And obviously Yuri Lowenthal does voice Haseo. It just seems like Yuri Lowenthal is voicing everybody these days, but nonetheless, he killed it as Haseo, and that was back in like 06, so take that for what you will. $4.99 for that, great pickup there. Next up, we got Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition. This game came out back in 2014, and I remember back when it came out, I was like, damn, this is a really good showcase of what the PS4 and Xbox One could do. You know, and even then, this game was a cross-gen game. It initially came out on the PS4 and Xbox One, and then it came out on PS3 and 360 as well. I have no idea how they managed to do that. I never played it on those consoles, but nonetheless, really good open-world game, satisfying action combat. Story was decent. Not crazy about Lord of the Rings or anything like that, but I ended up enjoying this game quite a bit. Shadow of War was a nice follow-up as well. $4.99 for Mordor, definitely a pretty good pickup. Next up, we got Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, 88% off for $4.79. Now, I'm meme on Sword Art. It's a hell and back. Like, Sword Art, man, the first 3 episodes were really good, and then it just fell off the biggest cliff I've ever seen an anime fall off of, and I know it's still going on, I know it's got a hardcore fandom, but like, yo, not for me. However, this game I actually think is pretty well done. It centers around the Gun Gale online portion of SAO, which was like, I think the 3rd game they went into, and the gameplay style is pretty good. Now, it's certainly like a AA RPG. You can see that it has real budget constraints and whatnot, so don't expect something blow away, but I actually thought the gameplay was pretty enjoyable. Yes, the dialogue is pretty corny, but what can you do? $4.79 I think is a pretty good pickup. Next up, we got Titanfall 2 Standard Edition, $3.99 on that. I mean, Titanfall 2 is a game that I'll always go to bat for. I don't know if we're ever going to get another title in the Titanfall franchise, but I think Titanfall 2 was pretty damn good, and I would strongly recommend it. Even from a single-player campaign standpoint, I think it's quite good, and it's one of those games that EA just did dirty. Like, there's times where you can't avoid competition, like sucks for Banisher's Ghost of New Eden this month, where it's just coming out around the time of a lot of other games as a new IP. Titanfall 2 came out around the same time as one of EA's own published games in Battlefield 1. Like, that just made no sense whatsoever, but yeah, Titanfall 2 ended up being a great game. Just not only Battlefield 1, there was Infinite Warfare, Overwatch 1 had come out, I believe, just a few months prior. There was a lot of competition at the time, and yeah, kind of just got done dirty, but the game itself was really good. And all things considered, you can consider that game the best, and I think a lot of people that played all those games would. Next up, we got Outlast Bundle of Terror. Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower. Yes, it's February, not really the Halloween time to play a survival horror game, but who cares? You can play a survival horror game any time of the year. Outlast is one that I feel like most of you guys played. It's incredibly engrossing, incredibly atmospheric. At this point, maybe some of the shock element has waned a little bit, but man, I remember when I initially played Outlast, and it really bugged me out in the sense of, you know, horror games weren't really my forte at the time, and playing Outlast was just a trippy experience, but definitely would recommend it at this price point. Next up, What Remains of Edith Finch, 75% off for $4.99. Great price on a very well done narrative driven game. Now, it's very much on the shorter side, very much focused on its narrative and storytelling, but the storytelling is really strong. If you want something that's concise to the point, What Remains of Edith Finch will give you exactly that. It is available on Plus Extra. And lastly, we have Narita Boy, which is 80% off for $4.99. Narita Boy is a great throwback action platformer. I think, you know, it certainly has its shortcomings, but the art style is great and very much a throwback, and a lot of the sound design elements are well done as well. For $5, it's a great price. That initial, you know, $20 or whatever, a little bit high, but at $5, I think it's a pretty solid pickup if this is the style of game you're looking for. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $5. Links to all of these, as always, in the description box below. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.